All right, good morning, everybody. It's a little late in the morning. Ronald and Anthony, I believe y'all are the ones here. Ronald, maybe just you. Um, but we're out here in the shop again on a Wednesday. Still getting a few things set up. I'll turn the camera around here in a second. Alrighty. Let's go here. Good morning. Hey, G Key Man. Glad you're here. Thank you, and Ronald and Anthony are the ones that are here right now. Not gonna do much today. It's kind of a busy day for me, so I'm going to just pick a couple locks because you always need to stay in practice picking. I've got one that I showed a long time ago. This one right here is Abounds Titanium. It's the 86 Ti 55. Anyway, we're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at a couple other things too. Maybe make this 86 a little bit harder to pick, depending on how badly it whoops me picking it to start with. Alpha Centauri, good morning, welcome, or good afternoon where you are. Anyway, yeah, today's a good day. We're back on schedule. I've got a lot going on today. Some of it stuff I got to get done in the house, midweek cleaning and all that jazz and good stuff. But I've got some other stuff I've got to do today to get ready for Saturday. And if you look back in the chat just a little bit with Gumby, I told him to make sure to be here Saturday. So I don't want to give away too much of what I've got planned, but if it works, which I'm going to be doing some testing this evening and tomorrow, but if it works, then Saturday should be really cool, and it should also be a great lead-in to maybe some features in the future on Saturday Live. And I'm really excited about the possibility. This is the idea that I said that I had way back towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. It's this idea, and I think I've found a way to make it work. But like I said, I've got to do some testing. So if you see anything weird pop up on my channel tonight or tomorrow, just kind of ignore it. Yeah, I'm excited about it, and I think, pretty sure y'all will really like it, because I don't think it's been done before for lock sport. It's been done before for other stuff, but not for locks, lock sport, locksmithing, and stuff like that. So I think y'all are really gonna enjoy it. Trying to match master keys to locks. Well, that is that would be one of those things I can imagine doing a master key system, especially if you had, like, say you had a whole building that you had to start from scratch. I can only imagine, like, the prep work that would go into that, in the shop, pinning cylinders, cutting keys, matching everything. That would just be, wow. Yeah, that would be a big project. of course, depending on how many change keys and submasters and all that good stuff that you had, that would be a heck of a project for sure. Ronald, maybe I might be trying to take over the world. It's a possibility. So you'll just have to wait and see. I'm really hoping it'll work, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. So yeah, out here in the shop, it is a toasty, like 75 degrees out here. 70, probably a little bit warmer than that, because it's about 80 outside right now. It's supposed to get even hotter. We got pretty warm yesterday. We got up to about 87 degrees yesterday, and like I said, it's supposed to be even warmer today. So the noise that you hear is not the new heater, although I have it in fan mode over here, and I have it with the humidifier on. Because this time of year, the air here is really, really dry, and it just bugs my sinuses to no end. Like, I'll wake up in the mornings just with my nose just hurting just because of all the dry air. And it's like, ugh. So, but it's warm enough today that I've got the AC on. And yes, that's the same, yeah. Less than a week after purchasing a new heater for out here in the shop, I've got the air conditioning on. It really, really figures. But at least I've got a good heater and, fan to circulate the cold air from the air conditioning, and I'll be ready for cold weather as soon as it hits. So yeah, I think we're set to go for a while. Let's see. James, I think I said good morning to you, but if not, good morning or good afternoon where you are. Whenever I get new master lock keys. Oh, okay. I got you. Keys for master locks. Yeah. I mean, with like the master lock padlocks, so many of them are keyed alike, because you just don't have that big of a selection to choose from. And I think it was Gumby who was in here earlier. Yeah, Gumby shared with me on Twitter. He had bought one of the 100th anniversary master lock padlocks, bought two of them, and they were both keyed alike. So that shows you, and he was wondering if they were all keyed alike. So I don't know. We should look into that to see, are they all keyed the same? If so, then Master Lock needs to come back and say this is a collector's item only, not to be actually used, because if one person buys it, then they've got the keys to all the rest of them, which would not be good at all. Let's see. So that's about it. That's about all that's going on. Came out here to the shop Sunday and was semi-productive. I'll show you. We'll go ahead and get the camera turned. Let's see. I made this Sunday, and all y'all who do woodworking probably laugh at my craftsmanship. This is very rough, done with what I had on hand, materials and equipment, tools. But I was just tired of everything being all crammed together, so I just kind of kind of threw that together a little bit. Not real happy with the way it turned out. I made it just a tad too tall, but at the same time it seems to be working, so we'll see how it goes. And then the other thing is I took one of the slimline deep hooks, Southord deep hooks, and I made this handle for it. This is not super glue. This is actually a 2-part epoxy. So I epoxied that, clamped it together, and just let it sit to dry until today, actually, from Sunday. So this should be pretty cured. I may, later today, maybe, depending, I may go ahead and finish the handle, or at least try to. Getting down this material here, I've traced out where, the profile of the handle that I want. So I've got to get rid of this excess material and then finish it down to the pick and make it all nice and smooth and everything. But this is same thickness as one of my blue handled picks. Let's get some light. Let's shed some light on the situation. There we go. It's about the same thickness. This is just wood that I had here in the shop. Nothing special. Kind of difficult, again, to cut with the tools that I have. But, we'll see how it turns out. It's my first time ever doing a pick handle like this, so we just got to wait and see what happens with it. And I've got another small piece here, so I figured I can learn all my mistakes on this one and then do another one. And I'll probably do either the short hook profile, or I will choose one of the other profiles. So that was Saturday out here. I made a mess and haven't cleaned it up yet. But anyway, that's sort of what I got going on at the moment. So let's look at this padlock. Like I said, I've shown this one before in videos. The 8655. This lock body is, best I can tell, it's only available in the UK, and that's where I had to order it from. It took about a month for the lock body to get here, and when it got here, it did not have the locking core in there. It had been marketed and priced as though it did have the core, but of course when it arrived, it didn't have it. So it took me another, I think, like 6 or 7 weeks to find and order and receive the core to go in here, which this is the Abounds E60 core, and we'll take it out and look at it here in a little bit. That is the bitting right there, so you can see lots of nice ups and downs. Really makes it for a tricky pick, but I will show you what's on the inside, and that really can make it tricky in this core. Of course, you can put any half Euro cylinder in this lock body, as long as it's the right size. You can put it in there and it will hold it just the same. But yeah, it's this one's pretty tricky. So let me get, sorry, the air, like this time of year, our air humidity just really plummets. So it makes everything dry. That's what I was talking about, having the humidifier on over here. So the best pick that I found for this is actually the Sparrow's Tron. just a thin, short hook, because if you look at the warding on here, if we can get some good light, you can see there's some pretty sharp warding here, and you can't go straight up. There's some warding here that the pins actually sit on, and so you have to work in from the side. So that doesn't really give you a whole lot of room. And with just that tiny little bit up top, that doesn't give you anything to put a tensioner in there. Let's see if that'll do the trick for lighting. So what I like to do is use a bottom of the keyway tensioner and actually just put it right in here. And yes, I am using a vise to pick it. I've not picked this thing in a long time, so we'll see what we get. 1's loose, 2's loose, 3, got a little click off of 3, a little click off of 4, another click off of 4, 5, 6, got a click there. I think I overset something already because everything is springy in it. Maybe that was 5 I got earlier. Okay, we'll reset it. Increase the tension a little bit. Okay, there's 3. And then 4. 5 is loose. 6. Okay, I think I'm oversetting 3, so I'm going to skip 3, so I know it's bound. Okay, there's 4. Gotta pop out of 4. Okay, 1 is bound. Click out of 1. 3 is still bound. I'm still going to leave him alone just to see if there's anybody else binding up. Nope. Okay, there's 3. I think I'm on 4 there. That's 5 and 6. All right, I'll reset that again. I'll tilt this down just a bit. All right, I'm going to start from the back this time. Okay, so that was 6. And 1 now. I think I'm on 2. And there's 3. That's 5. I got nothing. When we get this apart, y'all see why it's so easy to overset these pins. So we've got some serrated in here, spools. I'm kind of flexing the tension wrench. Just a little bit. Okay, that was like 4, 1, and then 2. That was 5, I believe. 6, and there we go. Woo! This booger put up a fight. Alrighty. So the way that you disassemble these is pretty unique. Well, it is unique when compared to locks that we see here in the U.S. In that we don't just, there is a screw in the shackle hole, but we don't drop that to drop the core. There's actually this little plug right here, little rubber plug, and it comes out and gives us access to a grub screw that's in here. And if I can find the right driver, there we go. All you have to do is just back this out just a little bit. Well, actually you might have to take this out all the way. Okay. And then you notice that's out all the way, and our core wants to come out, but it won't because it's got the little actuator in there. I think I set this for key retaining. Which if it is key retaining, and we have to lock it back up. Put the key in there. There we go. Yep, and then angle it back around. Wasn't pulling at the right pull-out point. And the way that you set it key retaining or not is the position of the actuator lug. You can actually poke this in right there. There's a little detent right there that you can poke in and adjust the cant because there's another detent over here, and so you can adjust it like so, and then when you put it in, you'll be able to rotate the key out. And just imagine we had the grub screw in there, and of course you can lock it unlock it with the key, and then remove the key. Padlocks, my preference with padlocks is that they are key retaining. And we'll, and the reason why is just because it helps you keep from getting locked out or misplacing the lock, either one. So we'll set that over here. And then we'll come in a little bit closer. There we go. All right, so this is, obviously being a half cylinder, we don't have the rest of it to go, what would normally go into the door with a thumb turn or another locking cylinder on the inside. So it's very easy to disassemble compared to other profile cylinders. And I say easy compared to, but that does not mean that it's, just like taking them for a quick set. We'll get all right, so to gut this, what you would do is take your key, turn it just so, just like you normally would, and then you're going to see, actually, what is it? First you'll hit that little detent. Actually, no. First, you'll remove the C-clip that's in there. I'm gonna get that turned a little bit. Special little C-clip remover tool. Slide it in there, and you can see it pops that clip just right up to where you can start to get it off. And then shoot it across the room at yourself to the floor. Fortunately, it didn't go too far. All right, so now it's the point where I push that detent in to move the cam freely. It's been a while since I've disassembled this. You sort of need 3 hands for it. There we go. Alrighty. Whew. Alright, so here is our actuator on the back, and of course it comes with these two little retainer pins that go in through here, and they're kept under tension with this spring. And that is going to be a pain to get back together later. But basically, they go like this. They're just free floating. They can spring off of each other to maintain this piece in position. Let's get pin tray. Now, let's get our pins, our key pins out. And these are not your standard key pins either. These are really, really cool key pins that do make this lock a lot harder to pick. Okay. So there you can see the key pins are these cool little torpedo pins. And the first two are anti-drill pins. But you can see it has that cool tapered shape up to a mushroom flared head. And you can see why they call them torpedo pins. But those are very, very effective. So you have a total of four of them. Two standards. You've got a standard anti-drill pin or drill resistant pin in the front. And then another one. And then you've got all brass from there out. And number 4 is just a standard bottom pin. So now comes the tricky part. We will take the top pins out. Actually, taking these things apart is not the tricky part. It's putting them all back together. We've got some funky pins up top as well. Now imagine, James, if you're still here, I imagine you've probably seen these a good bit, because again, these are only sold and marketed in the UK. And again, we've got a lot of really, really cool funkiness going on with these pins. So you can see, again, drill resistant pin in the front. Very, very long standard pin here in second. And then this really honking long spool. And then a sort of a double-ended mushroom type pin, but not quite. You can see how it's spooled in and flared out to a nice sharp edge on the ends. Sort of, I guess, like a double-ended mushroom. James, why was I thinking you were in the UK? That's weird. Huh. Okay. So I guess you haven't seen these in Michigan. My bad. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Alpha Centauri, if you're still here, you may have seen him. Although I think you're in Germany. But you may have him there. Huh. That's weird, James. I thought you were in over across the pond for some reason. Anyway, this last one is a tapered pin. And the backstory with this particular lock is when I got it, the first time I ever gutted the thing, I had a rather bad gutting disaster and wound up springing everything loose and had to work to put it all back together. So the driver pins are out of order from what they normally were. Let's look at the plug here real quick. Nothing. There's no countermilling in any of these. If they did have factory countermilling in them, this lock would be every bit as hard to pick as one of these asses. No doubt in my mind. I'm not going to go in there and countermill this. But I think if somebody did, it would be just, it would be extremely difficult to pick. But you can see here, you've got some more drill protection. So that's going to take you a lot to drill through from, of course, from the plug, you're not gonna get very far. Up top in the Bible, there's no real drill protection up here. But this is, I don't think it's magnetic. Nah, it's not sticking to my magnet here. But so it's not steel, but it's a very hefty metal, to say the least. So let's look at a way that maybe we can restore this to the original pinning for the top pins. So we can look at, we'll go ahead and load our bottom pins back up. And we know that this anti-drill pin goes in the front. So we've got that one done for us. And then number 4 is going to be our standard bottom pin. And the rest are torpedo pins. I'm going to say we rearrange and put the standard pin with the standard pin, because the standard pins are there to give a little bit of stability to the function of the lock. So I think we're going to try arranging that to there. And then of course we've got first pin in its correct place. And then I'm going to say, let's try putting this tapered pin in the number 2 spot, just because of how tall that number 2 pin is. And I think we could get a little trickier there because of how that reduces diameter. So let's try putting that there. So that's in the 2, and then that's going to be in the 4, and then we'll have these, let's see, let's put, since the 6th pin is also a very, very tall pin, and we don't have much room there to come up into play, let's put this guy, a sort of double-ended one, here for number 6. So that leaves us a standard for 1, tapered for 2, spool for 3, standard for 4, spool for 5, and then this little barrel pin for 6. Okay, Alpha. Yeah. I thought that this cylinder and lock body were available there. I wasn't for sure. Like I said, I had to order mine from the UK, but it was actually Foxy 3 or Red Cat Imaging who told me years and years ago about this lock, and because he knew how I really like Abus locks, and he told me about this one, that y'all have this in lieu of the 83, the Abus 83 series. I don't know, y'all might have the 83 series now, but I'm not sure. But I do have the another profile cylinder that Tobias and Julian gave me years ago, a couple of them, and they are the titanium full profile cylinders. And I forget I think it's the Abus T20 cylinder, if I'm not mistaken. I have it back there in the collection somewhere. But anyway, let's get this guy back together. And to do that, I'm going to go ahead and put this actuator here. And this is sort of a balancing act. Again, you need like 3 hands to get this done. I'm going to put that pin on that side, hold it, and put this pin on this side and hold it. Turn it just a bit to where those retainer pins do not spring into the cylinders. Okay, there we go. Ha ha ha. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was the easiest I've ever gotten this lock back together. And you can go back through some of my prior videos, like the prior videos where I've covered this lock, and see what difficulty I've had, or at least hear me whine about it. And I'm just hitting these retainers until I get this angled back around. That went way smoother than I was afeared of. All right, so shoot. Spoke too soon, Tim. God bless America. Y'all know what I just did. Okay, this is going to be painful. And why did I have to do that, you ask? After such a smooth reassembly. And I jinxed myself. I shouldn't have said a daggone thing about it. What happened? What mistake did I make? Did y'all catch it? I didn't catch it. I should have caught it. So that goes there, there, there. Okay. Well, there launched a spring. Hang on a second. Y'all should have caught what I did. Yep, Ronald. Yep. Ronald called it. Forgot the C-clip. And yes, G-Key Man, free demo on what not to do. You know, it's like I said to Jason in his live Saturday. I said, you know, I do not smart things on live all the time. Let's see, and I need to find that spring. Yes, I'm down here on my hands and knees on the floor. So I saw the general direction in which it sprung out. Let's see. Yep, GQ man. Shit happens sooner or later. No matter what you try to do, no matter how careful you are. And of course, I made the golden mistake. I jinxed myself by saying how well it had all gone. And of course, whenever you say something like that, is when everything is going to take an express train for hell. Alright, if I can't find that damn spring over here somewhere. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha! There we go. And then the last one, I believe, is still inside the lock here. But I will have to double check. Yes. Spring in chamber 1 is still there. Okay. Let's try this again. Follow this through. Actually, I'm not going to take the chance on following that through just because of those pins. What you can do with this is very carefully balance. Well, no, you can't really do that. You have to follow it through. All right, so let's get this together here. What I really don't want to happen is one of these pins to get stuck in one of the chambers. So we got to be really, really careful about that. Putting this thing back together. And we'll just go at it. I think I've got these back in order. I said standard, tapered, spool, standard, spool, mushroom. So I think that's what we said. And just remember that one still has a spring in it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, James, I would buy extra springs, but you know, again, it's hard enough to get this lock shipped over here to the U.S. And see, a robot vacuum would be, you know, that would be pretty cool. Except that I've got enough other stuff on the floor that I doubt I'd actually get any part finding accomplished. Because I'd still have to, like, sort through it. And sift it and everything else. Okay. But yes, that was most definitely a free lesson. Pay attention to what the hell you're doing and don't jinx yourself. But you know what? Stuff happens. And if stuff didn't happen, we would never learn our lesson. To where we didn't make the same mistake again. So I'm okay with it. Found all the parts. We got everything back together. Alright, I'm going to put this actuator back in here and run the follower back through. There we go. Hey, Rune. You just missed the biggest oops moment that I've had so far this year, I believe. I won't tell you what I did. Of course, you probably read back in the chat and can figure it out. However, I will say, don't let me forget the C-clip before I go to reinstall the cylinder. Let me do this. Set that here. And make sure I can get this in. Okay. Alrighty. And then just as an added bit of insurance, where need to order some more shims. Yeah. I think I've got some of the real shims somewhere, but these are the ultra thin ones, like the homemade shims. I don't know, that might be too tight for a shim though, actually. There we go. Okay, sweet. Got that. Cylinders locked up. Rotate. I believe that's the key retaining angle. Then we put the all-important C-clip back in. You must never ever forget to put the C-clip back on a profile cylinder before you start testing it. It's a little tight. I don't think the C-clip is seated quite correctly. If memory serves, it does sort of want to go in a certain way. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Alrighty. Sweet. All right. Let's see. Kid wants to go hunt Bigfoot in Washington State. Yeah, Rune, that illuminated follower, I'm definitely going to have to make one of those one day. All right, let's see. Just holding this up here. What do you mean it? All right. Rune, I know, and the thing is, I have put that in from the back so many times and fought with it so many times and sprung like all the pins and everything. It, like I was saying just before, I made the completely rookie mistake of not putting the C-clip back on before going to test the lock. I said that was the smoothest that I had ever put that lock back together like that. And that's the truth. And I did it actually just the same way you just saw me. I know that's not how you're supposed to do it, but, you know, it worked. Let's see. Go hunt Bigfoot. yeah, it's on video. Trying to get an Abrams tank in the backwoods. Yeah. I don't know if I'd want a tank. I think for doing something like that, I think a Unimog would actually probably serve a little bit better. I don't know. I kind of like Unimogs. I want to have one day. Let's get that tightened in a little bit more. There we go. Alright, cylinder's nice and secure. It works. There we go. Put our little plug back in here. Ha! We made it. We actually made it. Despite only one giant road bump. Now we're going to see how this thing picks. Put our tools here, keys there. All right, Anthony. Well, it was pretty boring, except for the part where I just about, ruined the whole lock with a simple mistake. But, yeah. All right. Let's see if we're getting anything now. Okay. Back on 5. Got a couple clicks there. That was 4. 1. Okay, restart it with heavier tension. And even knowing what pins are in what chambers doesn't really help. And Ronald, for Bigfoot, I mean, that sounds like a heck of a thing. I mean, I've heard that actually in the backwoods of Michigan, it's not that uncommon to see Bigfoot. At least I've been told. And actually, around the foothills of North Carolina here, there have been a decent number of sightings going back years. Okay. That's the false set, but I think I got one set. Okay, there's 6. There we go. I got much crisper feedback with the drivers being rearranged like we did. Much more snappiness to it. I don't know. Does it make it easier or harder? Not sure. We'll set it aside and come back to it again in a few months. Hey, Lock-A-Lot. Yeah, you're kind of late. Missed all the excitement where I screwed up, sprung springs and forgot C-clips and stuff like that. You know, anytime you get me to cussing on camera, that's significant. Sorry about the jerkiness of the video, y'all. Repositioning. Because, like I said, that's about all we're doing today. All this extra light makes me look nasty. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we picked this guy, the Avis 8655 with the E60 half Euro cylinder in there. Pretty cool. Awesome bitting. Learned our lesson again to never forget the C-clip whenever you're reassembling a lock. And that it helps to have good eyesight whenever you spring springs across the shop. But yeah. Yeah, Rune, exactly. That's why I do a lot of this, is because, you know, when I transition, you know, when I get my license and I transition into doing this on other people's stuff, I want to have made, you know, my big rookie mistakes that could brick a lock in here, in the shop, where, you know, we can laugh about it, I can learn from it, you know, we can all learn from it, and I can say, okay, next time, do not do this, and I can remember that. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I do all this, you know, on these videos, is so that if I'm going to screw up, I can do it here, and I can screw it up with my own stuff. You know, it's just like for Lock Sport, we tell people, you know, don't pick locks that are in use, even if they belong to you, because you might break it. You might screw something up. You know, you might unwind a spring. You might break a pick off in there. You know, all kinds of stuff that you can do to really, you know, that would cause you to have to call a locksmith. So that's why, you know, one of the #1 rules of Lock Sport is, actually the #2 rule of Lock Sport is, don't pick any locks that are in use, even if they're yours. You know, with me, I've got the resources and I have enough knowledge that I can fix something if I screw it up, you know, screw up one of my locks. Like, for instance, this past Saturday, after I got done with live, whenever I'm leaving the shop, I always, you know, pat down my pockets, make sure I've got the lights turned off, you know, everything turned off, shut down, make sure I grab everything I need to take out with me, and then I throw the night lights on the door over here and pull it shut. And as soon as I pulled it shut, I said, oh crap, because I'd left my keys in here, and like my regular house keys, because I lock the doors to the house whenever I'm out here in the shop, just because I can't keep, you know, an eye on it. I don't have a direct sight to my doors. So I had to pick the lock to get back into my own shop. I wasn't going to tell that story, but you know, with a Schlage Everest cylinder, you have the check pin that you have to pick as well. And if you're not careful with picking that, especially when you're not picking in a position of comfort, like we were doing with this lock here in a vise on the bench, there's a real chance that you can over torque your pick trying to set that check pin and break your pick off in there. And, that could cause all kinds of problems. You might eventually get the door open, but you would have to, replace the cylinder, or at least take the cylinder out and dump everything, remove that foreign body, and then put it all back together and reinstall it. So yeah, Rune, you're absolutely right. It is much better to make these kinds of mistakes here in the shop, where we can learn from it and laugh about it, instead of doing it when I'm out there being paid to know what the heck I'm doing. So yeah, that's why I like this. You need to call a locksmith and your own number show up. Yes, that would be a very dope moment for sure. Yep. Yeah, broke a pick in a lock in use. Yeah, it's not fun. And especially when folks are just getting started in this, and they get a couple, master lock padlocks open, and then they'll get a couple old quick set deadbolts off the lock, or they just can't pick it, because having a lock that's in use mounted in a door picks completely different than a lock that's sitting here in the shop. So yeah, that's why as a hobbyist picker you don't do that. As a locksmith you have to, because that's part of your job. So is a kind of a fine line, and I understand why a lot of places want you to apprentice with somebody. And I mean, honestly, I want to apprentice with somebody, just so that I can see a lot of these things, like getting hands-on with other kinds of door hardware, like panic devices, exit devices, door closers, stuff like that, to where I can actually see somebody and watch them install it either from scratch or replace it or adjust it, and get that experience. So, and I'm still working on finding a place around here, somebody who's willing to have an apprentice. I'm just going ahead and getting the license to where legally I could go out on my own and do it. And there are certain jobs that I feel comfortable with, installing a new deadbolt, rekeying locks, stuff like that. I feel comfortable with, because I've done it in here plenty of times and practiced it. So it's some of that other stuff that I've not messed with, that I would like to work with somebody in order to see that. Let's see. All right, Lock-A-Lot. We'll see you later. Rune, yeah, I don't know. I have the feeling that if I had been working for that particular locksmith in Jackson, Mississippi, he might have made me wait with the truck yesterday. Pretty sure that he would have designated that the task of the apprentice, to sit with the truck until it's fixed, but not to drive the truck back to the shop, just to sit there with it until the mechanic got it fixed. Yeah. Now I could be a puppy sitter. I could do that. I would love to have another puppy, but I've got to get things stabilized right now. It'll be a while. It'll happen when it is supposed to happen, which is the way all great animals come into our lives. We don't plan on it. We don't look for it. You should never go and plan on buying an animal to be in your life. I hate it when I hear people say that they're buying animals. Don't. Just adopt. Don't shop. It's simple. You know, all 4 of my kitty cats have cost me money out the wazoo over the years. But they're worth every penny of it. And none of them, all of them literally wandered up off the street. So, yeah. But anyway, alrighty folks, well, I'm going to go ahead and wind it up. I had brunch today. Posted on Twitter. I don't think I put it on Twitter. I'll put it on Twitter what I had for lunch today, which was my take on huevos rancheros, which is basically eggs that are poached in a tomato salsa with some spices and stuff. And of course I dressed it up with some cheese and cilantro and some lime juice. Really, really tasty. I made a version of it before, but it did not turn out this well. I mean, Oh, that's really cool, Rune. Going to Italy to get a free cat. Rune, I don't know if you follow her, but I've talked about her before on my videos, and probably you see me retweet or like some of her tweets, but Cats with No Hope, she is in Turkey right now, and she was in where was it? She was in Syria. Is it Syria? Tunisia. She was in Tunisia, not Syria. She had been based there before, and then she moved just a couple months before the pandemic shut everything down. She moved from Tunisia to Turkey, and she was only able to bring about half of her rescues. The rescues that she has are cats that she finds on the street who have injuries or illnesses, and she'll bring them in, nurse them back to health, get them actual veterinary care, and then take care of them. She has several that are completely blind. She has several that are missing limbs, and she loves each and every one of them. And she just recently, over the past week and a half, one of the people she used to work with in Tunisia had let her know that there was a cat in one of the colonies that she would feed, and it had been severely injured. Looked like it had been kicked. There's no way to know for sure what had happened, but it was a very very sad thing. She went from Turkey. Now this is still during travel restrictions. She went from Turkey to Tunisia, had rescuers, she met rescuers in Tunisia and Turkey, Istanbul. It was a whole international relay of one of the cats that she had rescued prior to moving countries that she had to leave behind. Brought that cat plus the one that was recently discovered as injured, because there's better veterinary care in Turkey than there is Tunisia. And so she's got both of those kitties are being taken care of. Rune, it's sad sometimes, but it's actually to follow her and get to know Tammy. That's her name. She's an American expatriate to that area, and she's really, really nice, and just really nice, caring woman, and does all kinds of great things, and it's really sad when she does have some of the sadder things happen, but most of the time she's got wonderful stories. So if let's see. Oh, no, that's cool, Rune. Yeah. Went across country to get one. Mm-hmm. Ronald, I don't think that they do. I don't think they eat cats over there. I don't think. I haven't seen any of that. And just based on the numbers that are roaming the street over there, I think it's more of a stray and feral population, because people do keep them as pets over in that area. So I think that's more eastward from there. And James, I have not seen that video. I will look for it though. But anyway, all right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here because it's 1:45 for me, and I've got a bunch of stuff I got to get done. Rune, I mentioned it earlier. James, I don't think you were around. Alpha Centauri. Anyway, I'll say it again. I've got something in the works for this Saturday for live. It's the idea that I've had for quite a while now, and I think I'm getting to the point where I can make it happen. So you may see a couple weird things with my channel. Just don't worry about that. But Saturday, if you can be here Saturday, which I know a lot of you are normally here on Saturdays anyway. But Saturday should prove to be pretty cool. If we can make it work, it should prove to be pretty cool. It's not the original plan that I had for Saturday, but we're gonna make it work. Got some testing to do later today, and gotta work on it some tomorrow evening. But I think it's really gonna change a lot of things and make it really cool for Saturday Live. So stay tuned. I will keep you guys up to date on that through the week, as far as how it comes along. But anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. My throat's starting to get really dry out here, even with the humidifier going. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great Wednesday, a great rest of the week. It is finally getting nice and warm and pretty outside. Pollen is everywhere in this area. No room. There is no planned super glue. I do have the super glue right here. I do have the acetone over there-ish. Well, over there-ish. Somewhere. Pointing towards the big shelf. It's cluttered. No super glue. I think y'all will be pleasantly surprised as to what happens. And I can't say any more, because if I say any more, I'm going to give it away. If I give it away, it's going to spoil the surprise. So anyway, I'm just going to shut up then right now. But y'all have a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. And keep in touch. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy.